Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of A Work in Progress, of course, the AWI Pod Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, of course, Brent Piles, and with me, only one person is with me today, and he is the man who is the mayor, but you didn't vote for him. He is the mayor of Canton. Mayor of Canton, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. There might be someone out there that voted for me. I'm not sure.
They might have just wrote you in.
There's a write-in vote. Yeah, it could have been me.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
You're
They
Shaggy.
saw me at the ballot box. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. I usually send mine in anyway. Who wants to stand that line?
Have we checked out to see who won our AWI Pod Pick'em?
You know what, man? I actually planned on going downstairs and getting my notebook and flipping it open and finding out who won, but I completely fucking forgot to. So
we're all winners right now.
We're all winners. And I know the first night I did not do well.
I did not either.
Yeah, the second night I don't think it started out good for me either. I picked Drew to win, but I think I was like 0 for 2 because I remember at one point like Bryson was making fun of me because I was saying like, "Oh, I got that one wrong. Oh, I got that one wrong." Because I know so Glenn at least is one up on us because I know we both picked Gunther and Jay won. So
yes,
and we talked about how we couldn't remember who the champion was, but now that I thought more about it, I'm pretty sure it's Glenn. Pretty sure Glenn won at Elimination Chamber.
He might have retained.
I think he won it from you actually.
I had it for a long time, and then I don't remember who I lost it to.
Yeah, I want to say that he won it from you. So yeah, so I don't know who the champion is, but maybe next week we'll find out. We had to move our recording schedule around a little bit because the mayor's got some Easter things he's doing on Tuesday, and Glenn unfortunately is a little bit under the weather at the moment, so he's not going to be with us this week as he's not feeling so well at the current time. But we figured since it was the biggest weekend in wrestling, most people would say WrestleMania weekend, that we needed to do a podcast and sort of talk about WrestleMania. Now, I know last night after the show was over, you said in our group chat that you thought that it should be discussed in or about as one of the top 5 maybe WrestleManias of all time. Do you still, if you sat on us for a day, you still feel that way?
Did you say that this would have been one of the top 5 WrestleManias, or the women's match was a top 5 WrestleMania match?
I thought you said in our group chat last night that you thought that was one of the best WrestleManias, but I was under the influence last night, so maybe I read it wrong.
No, I didn't. I'm trying to think back. It would be really hard to compare now that they're doing these things on 2 nights.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare them as a spectacle and a card compared to when there was only really like 2 matches on the card that most people would care about. No,
I misquoted you. This is what you said. I was talking about how I really enjoyed the match the opening night second match, which was the 3-way between Io, Bianca, and Rhea. And you said that it really needs to be discussed as one of the top 5 Mania matches ever. It was perfect. That's what you were talking about.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. The triple threat match to kick off night 2 between Io, Bianca, and Rhea. I loved it. It just was nonstop action after action. There wasn't people laying out of the ring. It was how a triple threat match should be done, where it almost seems like, because you'd think if there was 2 baby faces and a heel, they would gang up and vice versa. But the way this was set up, it was perfect. The match went off perfect. Everything built and built and built. And the way that it finished, it almost seemed as if Bianca had won. That Bianca got the 3 count, and then Io came in with the moonsault, got the victory. The whole build of it was incredible. I wanted to see Bianca win there because I thought there would be a lot more that they could do with Bianca with the belt moving forward. But either way, none of it matters because the match itself was incredible. I mean, when I'm putting it in their top 5 all time, I mean, you're thinking Brett and Austin, you're thinking Michaels, Taker. I mean, you can almost say Michaels and anybody for a while. Michaels, Angle, Michaels, Jericho was really good. I mean, you don't even want to talk. Kurt and Benoit was great. Kurt and Brock was great. Kurt and Michaels was great. I can't. Okay, Kurt and Brock wasn't It was okay.
Yeah,
It was
I mean,
good. It's
even
not in that crap. It's not in that.
the three-way at WrestleMania 20 between Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. I think if Benoit hadn't have done what he did, I think that's in the list of top 10 WrestleMania matches ever. If Benoit hadn't have did what he did, because that is almost a perfect triple threat match too. It's hard to go back and watch that now, just because of like the celebration at the end. But I think that's a really good triple threat match too. I think it's a good one to measure it up to. I know people look at Benoit in a different light, and I get that, but I thought that was a great triple threat match. And this one I thought was perfect too, because like you said, most triple threat matches, there's just so much of two guys fighting while one guy takes a piss break that it's just silly. And this match had that, but it didn't have it a lot. Like most of the time, all three ladies were in the ring and they were all, cohesively doing moves to each other. It wasn't like two people ganging up on one for most of the match. So, yeah, it was a really great way to start the show, and probably one of the best triple threat matches, and definitely the best women's triple threat match that I've seen in a very long time. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it started off night two incredible. I don't know. All three ladies deserve a round of applause. They did a great job with that.
Yeah. And I do think that it's not going to stay on. I don't think it stays on EO long. I think by the next pay-per-view, Bianca's going to take it off of her, because I really think that Bianca's going to have a heel run, and it'll be good for her to do with the championship. But I think they had EO win it just because I don't think a lot of people thought EO was going to win. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I called the finish on our preview show. I said, Bianca would do Bianca or somebody, Bianca or Rhea would hit a big move, and then EO would come out of nowhere with a moonsault and win it, and that's what happened. Now you should have saw me. I wish I had like a camera. I was popping the entire fucking match, and I had my nieces and my sister over here, and they were laughing at me because I was fucking popping. I looked at them. I said, "I fucking love this shit." It was a fucking great match. It was really, really good. I mean, all the ladies really deserve a round of applause. That's match of the weekend for me.
Yeah, I thought that was the best match of the entire WrestleMania. Obviously, if I'm saying it's potential top 5 all time, there wasn't anything else in that conversation for me. I mean, almost all the matches were really well done. I can't complain about any of them. I mean, the final match of WrestleMania probably was my least favorite match, not because maybe because of the finish, but just it wasn't a really good match, honestly. But I don't want to go right into the negative, because that's not how I do things. I want to focus on the positive. And like, I really think the women of WrestleMania stole the show. Like, all 4 matches were really, really good. I enjoyed all 4 of them.
Yeah, the Charlotte Tiffany match was really good too. There was a couple times in there where I think maybe their timing got messed up a little bit. But I think you saw like a different side of Tiffany Stratton, because she was like she had to be really gritty in this one and be a little bit more grimy than she's been normally. And I think she chipped one of her teeth. Yeah. And I think for anybody who maybe, thought Tiffany Stratton only got into this thing because she's pretty or this, that, or the other, I think you can look at that match and really gain a lot of respect for Tiffany Stratton from that, because I think she really held her own against. I know people don't like her. You can feel any way you want to feel about her. But for me, I don't watch, Japanese women's wrestling, and I don't watch a lot of AEW. So for me, what I've seen, Charlotte's the greatest women's wrestler of all time, and Tiffany got in there and more than held her own. So I think Tiffany Stratton deserves another gold star, because she really,
I agree with both of those. Yeah.
Showed what she could do.
Yeah, Charlotte, greatest women's wrestler of all time, completely agree. And Tiffany held her own in there. Charlotte always, roughs it up, makes the matches, like you said, grimy, a little gritty, where it almost seems like it's an actual battle, which is a good thing to me. I know people complain and call that sloppy. I like to see that. I like to make it look like it's an actual match and it's being a competitive bout, and not just Cesaro out there. Not to, bag on Cesaro, but certain people make wrestling look too easy because they're just really clean. Yeah, it looks too clean. And Charlotte is not one of those people. She makes
it's just one of the old things. Like if me and you got into a fight, it wouldn't be crisp and clean. We wouldn't be doing fucking Huracan Rana. Some of that shit would look pretty fucking clunky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It looks like a struggle between two people legitimately trying to fight, and that's a good thing to me.
I know. I absolutely. I mean, I agree with you too. I thought it was a really good match, and that might have been the second best match on the show. I enjoyed Gunther versus Jay. I was really surprised by the finish. What did you think about the finish of that one?
I was surprised. It's hard to see Gunther tapping. I mean, I felt like they were going to have. I picked Gunther to win. I really felt like Jay was going to win it, especially when they're kicking off the show with it. It wouldn't have made sense to have like not a feel good moment kick off WrestleMania 1 and just completely kill the crowd. Like that would have been a terrible idea. Once I saw it was kicking off, I'm like, yeah, there's no way Jay isn't winning here. But it was a good quality match, a little bit clash of styles between the two. I think I think it was a little bit of a clash of styles. It wasn't the greatest Gunther match, and he has a lot of catalog of good matches, but it was good enough to get people into supporting Jey Uso winning the belt.
It definitely got the reaction that they wanted from the crowd because everybody popped for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I popped huge because I didn't see it coming because especially with the tap out thing. Like when he locked him in the choke, I figured, Gunther gets to the ropes or something.
Yeah.
I thought maybe he tapped out a little quick, maybe, but
I feel like it's the smart thing to do with him though, because, he didn't want the struggle. He just wanted out of there. I don't know. I'm trying to look at a positive spin on it so it doesn't completely piss on Gunther.
I wasn't trying to gripe on it too much, but I just feel like my sister said, she's like, man, he tapped pretty quick, which I thought was interesting. Well, big development here. If you're sorry if you haven't watched Raw yet, but here's a spoiler alert: we got new women's tag team champions again
after one night.
Yeah, but they're right back to the old tag team champions. So
okay, I'm okay.
I like that because I don't. Becky Lynch doesn't need to be the fucking tag team champion. So you have her come back. She gets the big moment at WrestleMania, but then you have Liv and Raquel win them back the next night. I like that. That's better. I like that. Good. That's good for me.
Spoiler alert, but yeah. And Gunther did tap really quickly to Ilya Dragunov as well.
You know what? I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. He did tap quick to Ilya, didn't he?
So it makes sense in his history to show that he likes to get out of predicaments like that, to live another day, kind of like making it seem like it's really detrimental. Like you don't want to be further injured. You want to get out of there like in a UFC fight. You don't let someone choke you out or break your ankle. You tap out when you're ready to go.
Yeah, most of the time in UFC, the guys don't hold on until their fucking bone snaps. And if it's about to snap, usually the ref stops it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So I'll give that at least a bit of
heel turn.
Heel turn.
We got a heel turn.
Oh no, it's got to be Becky Lynch. Right?
Becky's beating up Laura right now.
Oh, I knew it had to be coming.
I'm sorry, I'll stop spoiling it.
That had to be coming.
There's some dick face in the first row of the Liverpool jersey on. I'm just kidding, Dan.
There's a green shirt smiley face guy, though.
Yeah, he's out there. I had to get Dan back for him with the fuck you BP on the champion of Nebraska now. Which, if you hadn't heard, Dan ran into a guy in Vegas who was decked out in Cornhusker gear, and he had a Nebraska WWE championship belt. And Dan took a picture with it. So, and I told him that's what we like to do. Us Nebraskans like to let everybody know that we're shit kickers. So,
yep.
And then we got new world tag team champions as the New Day defeated the War Raiders. Probably not the best. I mean, I think it'll be fun with the heel New Day being the tag team champions. For me personally, I know maybe some people think that they maybe should have kept them the War Raiders a little bit longer, but me and you both picked the New Day, so.
I'm perfectly fine with it. I think the New Day is more exciting with the belts. I think the War Raiders, I don't know. They just haven't seemed to catch on to me on the main roster. They're great at NXT level. Main roster, I don't feel like they've got that X factor that connects with the crowd.
Yeah, I do think that they've got a better shot at getting themselves somewhere with, things are currently being run creatively where it seems like the tag team division is getting a little bit more of a push. I know a lot of people where I'm not really on social media, but I do get on Reddit, and so I see a lot of people talking on Reddit, and I saw a lot of the complaining about how the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the WWE Tag Team Championships, didn't get on WrestleMania. And like, I understand where people are coming from with that, but at the same time, you can't put every single match on WrestleMania because then you're gonna have a WrestleMania that goes until fucking midnight. And I don't know about you, but my favorite thing about both these nights is by about the 10 o'clock hour or the 11 o'clock hour in your case, the shows were ending. And that's how it should be. I don't want to fucking have to stay up until 12:30 to watch wrestling, you know?
Yeah. I fell asleep once in night 1 and once in night 2. I'm old. Like I had to be, hey, get up. You're sleeping.
I mean, shit, it happens. It happens. But yeah, so the New Day of the Tag Team Champions would be interesting to see who they feud with next. And then we had Jade Cargill versus Naomi. How did you think Jade Cargill held her own in her first WrestleMania match?
Great match. I was more than impressed by both of them in that match.
I agree. Didn't have super high hopes going into it, but I thought they over delivered for sure.
Very much over delivered, and man, it was a battle of keeping those tops up. But other than that, it actually was a really good wrestling match.
There was definitely some nipples coming out during that match, 100%. I don't know if you saw this, but I saw. I think it was on X maybe, and Jade Cargill was saying something to the effect of the only reason why Naomi's butt's so big is because she's been taking back shots. And Naomi said back to her, the only back shots I've been taking is from Big Jim.
Wow.
And then Jimmy replied to it and said, babe, it's 8 a.m.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I didn't see that though.
That was really fucking funny. That was really great.
That is really good.
And then we had Big Jim's getting the back shots. Good for Big Jim. Jacob Fatu is now the new United States champion. I think me and you both. I think all three of us agreed, even Glenn, that was the way that should have went. I don't know what they do with LA Knight from here, though, is the only thing. Yeah. We talked about that.
I think that's exactly what we said. Like, if you have LA Knight lose here, like, he's extremely over with the crowd. What do you do with him? Like, do you just kind of have him go away for a couple weeks and bring him back in like a new feud? I don't want to see him battling Jacob Fatu again.
He's going to get his ass kicked again.
Get his ass kicked again. Like, you want to see something. And I don't know what you do with him. Like, Logan Paul doesn't make sense because I feel like they've already done that, right?
Yeah, he beat Logan for the United States Championship. And plus, they're on two different shows. Logan's on Raw and he's on SmackDown. So, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see where it goes from here. But, I mean, a good match. And
that makes sense.
Hell of a moment for Jacob Fatu, and Fatu wins. And then we see Mr. Haku shows up.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to ask him about that this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to meet him this weekend, aren't you?
Yeah, I heard that wasn't scheduled, and Haku just was so excited he wanted to jump over the ring to congratulate the roof. And who's going to stop him? Literally,
not me. They said, "Yeah, let him go. It's fine."
If he wants to go congratulate Jacob, let him go.
It certainly didn't look planned because even Jacob looked surprised that he was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's great because, I mean, if people don't know Jacob Fatu's background, he got into a lot of like trouble and shit when he was younger, and he seems to have turned his life around now. And he's got signed to WWE, and he gets this big win on the big stage. And I just think that's great because a lot of people get into shit when they're younger, and sometimes that labels them for the rest of their lives. And it's good to see somebody can make something of themselves after being in the bottom like that and not keep that label on themselves. So I'm always proud to see people that do that. So I'm really happy for Jacob Fatu and a really big moment for him. And it was a really good match. I mean, I expected it to be more of a one-sided thing, but LA Knight got some shit in too. And it was one of the best United States Championship matches they've had on WrestleMania, probably since John Cena versus Rusev at WrestleMania 31.
That involved a tank. But yeah, it was a great match. I enjoyed it. I thought both people came out of it looking good. So, I mean, even though LA Knight obviously lost the title, but I still think he looked good in it. He represented himself well, and the entire build to it was good with him, like building up to that match. So LA Knight continues to always do well with whatever is given to him.
I mean, he was even good when he was, Max Dupree, and he was even cutting good promos when he was doing that. So,
yeah.
That's why when they put him on the main roster at first, and people were like, "Oh, blah blah blah." You just wait. that guy knows what to do. He knows how to talk. He gonna get himself over. It doesn't fucking matter what they put him in. And guess what? He did it.
He did it. Give him 30 seconds. I'll make the most
That's
of it.
all. That's all he needs is 30 seconds and a microphone, and that's it. I watched like a YouTube clip where they were doing like his top 5 best insults, and some of them were just so good. Like he's telling the Legato guys, he was like, well, don't get it. He said something about you can call me daddy, but don't get excited because the only one who can call me daddy, your daddy is your girl right there. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, he's good. He's quick.
Yeah, he is the gift of gab. And then El Grande Nacho defeated. It was supposed to be Rey Mysterio, but a different Rey took his place, and it was Rey Phoenix.
I thought it was a good match. It was a fun match. It built up some energy, and crowd seemed to be into it. I enjoyed it.
I mean, it was a fine match. It's the end. The finish of it was perplexing to me. It didn't make any sense to me. I guess if it would have been Rey Mysterio losing to him, I would have made more sense. But like Rey finished his first WrestleMania match and he lost to this guy who's fucking basically mocking everything about Lucha Heritage. I don't know. If it would have been Rey Mysterio, it would have been different. I just don't understand. I don't get putting Rey Fenix in this match and having him lose his first, I don't know. I didn't make any sense to me.
To me, I don't remember if it's a Raw. I think they're on Raw. Well, one's on Raw and one's on SmackDown, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
I was going to say, because this could have just made much more sense to just pull this off the card and have it on Raw. It was like a Raw or SmackDown match. Didn't need to be there.
Because like if this happens on Raw tonight, El Grande Nacho beats Penta, I'm not going to think the same thing about it because it's on Raw. Because it was at WrestleMania, and it was like his debut of WrestleMania. It was just very strange that he lost. I understand because it's not Chad Gable under there, but it's Chad Gable under there. And so, Chad Gable's done a lot and probably deserves a win at WrestleMania, and that's fair. But I don't know. It was just weird to me is all.
It's a good match, so I'll let it go.
And then we already talked about Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte. And then it was the main event. Seth Rollins defeats CM Punk and Roman Reigns by pinfall. And the shocking thing happens, and Paul Heyman is now with Seth Rollins. I think it was DB from the sit down marks was watching along. He kind of commented in the chat during our live show that he thought that this was going to happen, and I didn't think it would just because I had seen like that rumor around and thought maybe that's why it wouldn't happen. But like I think me and you talked about this, probably the most interesting way for it to end, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the most interesting way. It gives off more storylines for how they're going to spin off the bloodline. If it's going to now be Seth versus Roman, or Seth versus CM Punk still. You can still continue that, but now Heyman is in the corner with Seth. And I don't know, there's a lot of different ways they can go with it. I feel like it would have almost been the end of a story if it would have just either Punk left with Heyman and for a one-time thing, and then Heyman goes back to being with the bloodline. I feel like that storyline had kind of got a little bit stale, so now they've got to, move around some pieces, move around the furniture in the room a little bit to spice things up, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I think it's good at this time to get Paul Heyman to somebody else because he's been with Roman for what 4, 5 years now. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a number of years, and I think it's time for him to kind of move out on his own. And it's going to be interesting to see where this goes because now is he going to be feuding mostly with Punk? Is he going to be feuding mostly with Reigns? Is Rollins going to venture off into someone else, and Punk and Reigns are going to feud? It's just there's a lot of scenarios that could play out of this. What did you think about the match? Did you think it could have been a few minutes shorter, or did you think it was fine?
It could have been a few minutes shorter. I thought it went on a little bit long, but I enjoyed it overall. I don't think I was as high on it as a lot of people were. I don't want to crap on it, but I don't think it was one of the top 5 matches of WrestleMania this year. Maybe I'd have it at 5th.
I'm about to say if I had to put together a top 5, considering that there's only 14 matches, I do think it would get into the top 5. But you're right, it would be 4 or 5. It wouldn't be in the top 3, not for me anyway.
No, and I probably would have it at 5. And I liked the finish because it, like you said, it allows you to have some moving parts and see where things go. I think Reigns comes away from this and he goes away for a bit, and then he'll come back to do something, either help out Jacob or Jay or Jimmy. I think he'll come back in kind of a newer role. I'm not sure how he's going to stand with as much on the microphone without Heyman doing most of the lifting for him. Curious to see how that goes. I feel like
because like for the first time in a long time, it's going to be solely Roman, because he's either been with Heyman or he's had the Usos with him, and now it'll be back to just being Roman, and that never really worked, did it?
No, that's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to see where they go with this. See how it goes. I don't think Punk is going anywhere. I think he's in there for as long as he wants to, and he seems to be very interested. And I think Reigns takes a break for a little while. Maybe we'll see. Maybe we won't even see him again until SummerSlam. I don't know. He might have
be surprised.
He might have a goodbye little thing here, but I enjoyed it. It's another match that I enjoy. I can't complain anything about it. I like the finish. I like the finish more than the match. I'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, you shortened this. It was 32 minutes, and that's like 11 minutes longer than any other match got on the entire 2 nights. So that was my only thing. And again, I'm more okay with it during this because it's the main event of a WrestleMania. But again, too many kickouts of finishers for me. But that's just something that I always complain about. But like I said, I think we complained about this during the cage match between Seth and CM Punk. We did say that if it's in a big match like at a WrestleMania, I'm more accepting of multiple finishers. But I mean, when it's more than 10 finishers, it just becomes too much for me, no matter what's going on. But again, I'm not going to complain too much. I thought it was a fine triple threat match. They did one guy lays outside the ring while 2 guys fight, but they didn't do a whole lot of it. And they did like more moving parts. Like they fought into the crowd and they, had more weapons and shit. So, I thought they did well with what they had. So, but like you said, I wouldn't, when I look back on this WrestleMania, it's not going to be, the finish will stick in my mind, but nothing from the match will, I don't think. I'm not going to remember any moments from the match. I'll only remember the finish. So we talked about the women's triple threat, and then it was the Sin City street fight. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the Sin City street fight. Glad that Drew got the win. We actually made some bingo cards and played some wrestling bingo with the people over at my house. And I made like different bingo cards for different matches, and we were playing bingo during this one. So it was a really fun match for us to watch. And I thought it was a fun way to blow off the feud. And yeah.
No,
would you agree?
I 100% agree.
Sorry, I won't say it.
Okay. I love both those guys, and I had said that Priest was kind of getting a little stale, but this match, it was my second favorite match of the night of WrestleMania. I had this right. I mean, literally, they kicked off with the 2 best matches I thought of WrestleMania back to back, and I really enjoyed this one. Both guys looked great. I mean, Drew just keeps getting better and better for me. I'm hoping that he gets another championship run here soon. I don't know if they shuffle things up in the draft, and maybe he comes over to Raw and takes it off Jay. I don't know, but
Drew's already on Raw.
Wait, he's on Raw. He's already on Raw. You're right. He's already on Raw.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember because they move. Getting up to WrestleMania, they start moving people into both shows.
Yeah,
throws it off.
I was going to say, especially during WrestleMania season, they always have the same. They kind of move guys around, so that is really hard to keep it straight. I'm sure they'll be having a draft coming up soon because they usually do.
I wouldn't mind.
I think I'm actually going to agree with you. I think this was my second favorite match too. It was just a really good street fight between. I said, it was 2 medium. It's 2 medium men slapping me.
Yeah.
So nothing wrong with that.
A triple threat match and then a street fight. It was the only unsanctioned rules match that they had of the show outside of triple threats are, but
Yeah,
it was the only
but that's
specialty match.
right. It's not exactly. It was the only stipulation match, really.
Yeah, so it stood out, and they killed it.
Yeah, no, it was really good. And then we had the 4-way match, which we didn't see it. You called it. Dominic Mysterio is now the Intercontinental Champion, defeating Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, and Penta. He got lucky, but that's the way. That's the only way Dom should win a singles championship. Yes. So, I think I said, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" But maybe that won the belt for you, Mayor. Who knows? We'll have to check the standings, but. There's not really a whole lot that I took to note from this match. I mean, it was fine, but this wouldn't make my top 5 either.
No, it was great. It was a good match. It was a fun match to watch, and I love the way that they finished it. Whoever booked some of these finishes, minus the main event of this night, really deserves a round of applause because there's a lot of good finishes, and this was one of them. And I didn't see the crowd getting behind Dominic and started cheering for him when he won the championship, but I guess a WrestleMania crowd's a lot different than a normal Monday Night Raw or house show crowd by far.
Yeah, that's where the smarks of all smarks go.
Yeah, so I mean, I felt good that Tom got cheered, but I don't think he cares one way or another. He's living life good.
Yeah, I mean, shit, it's been going okay for him. But yeah, Dom's the Intercontinental Champion, and then we had the Randy Orton Open Challenge. And you could have gave me a billion guesses, and I would have never guessed that the TNA champion, Joe Hendry, would show up to challenge Randy Orton. It was funny because I love my brother, but I don't talk to my brother a lot just because we're both guys that don't like to talk on the phone. And so my brother maybe will text me. Me and my brother maybe will text 4 or 5 times a year, right? My birthday, his birthday, Christmas. He sends me a text message and asks me, "Don't tell me if you do, but do you know who the mystery opponent is?" And I just thought that was so funny that I never hear from my brother. And
that's what he sent you.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to know. And I really didn't know who it was going to be. But I thought it was cool. I mean, it was a cool moment. I even thought it was funny the way Orton won, where Henry does the thing where he looks at the camera, and then, of course, he gets an RKO out of nowhere. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was good. It was good. Who did you think it was going to be?
I honestly had no idea. There was nobody in my brain that I could come up with that I thought it was going to be. Do you have any ideas?
I was feeling it was going to be Sami Zayn.
That's actually what Rachel said to me too. She said maybe it'll be Sami Zayn, and I said, maybe, but
that would have made the most sense to me of the people that would have been on the roster outside of some surprise, which it was surprising, and it was good.
It definitely was a surprise. It's Joe Hendry. The match was only 3 minutes and 10 seconds, but that's fine. It was fun. I got a kick out of it. The next match, I'll be honest with you, for most of this match, I was outside smoking, so I missed probably 7 minutes of the 17 minutes that this match went. But from the 10 minutes that I watched, it was a really, really good match. This would make my top 5. I'm going to have to go back and watch all of it. Logan Paul defeated AJ Styles by pinfall. Did you watch this one or did you fall asleep?
Wow, you know me really well. I told you, I said I fell asleep during night 2. I missed this entire match. I missed the entrances. Once the match before that ended with Joe Hendry and Randy Orton, I literally crashed and I was out for the.
You got RKO'd out of nowhere.
I got RKO'd out of nowhere for 20 minutes, and I did not wake up until I believe the women's tag match was already maybe a few minutes underway.
Okay, so. We're not really going to talk about this one much because I missed most of it and the mayor missed all of it. And I don't know you that well. The reason why I know is because you told us earlier in the Discord chat that you were falling asleep during this match. So I knew what you said. I wasn't under the influence when I read your text message, when I read your messages today. I was under the influence when I read them last night. Very much under the influence of many things. Yeah. Mostly Blackberry Crown. We polished off almost a whole bottle, so. Between 3 of us. Yeah, so that's how we do it. All right, and then we got the big surprise of the night. Laura Valkyrie had to get a new tag team partner, and it was the returning Becky Lynch. That didn't really work out for her tonight on Raw, but it worked out for her last night because they won the women's tag team championships. And I got to say, good goddamn power. Liv Morgan was looking pretty good, huh?
I didn't make me want to turn off the TV. That's for sure. Yeah, it was a fun match. It was a fine match for what it was, and I'm glad to see that they've already won the belts back on Monday Night Raw because it makes a lot more sense for them to carry it.
Yeah, I think because we talked about this kind of, and I was like, it's cool to have Becky come back and get a win, but then it's nice to just switch the titles back. And now we're gonna have big time Bex, the heel Becky Lynch back apparently, and I mean Seth's gonna be heel, so it only makes sense for her to be heel too, right?
I love it. I hope that somehow they merge those two worlds together, and we get a Heyman, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins little triumvirate there. Because that the new Paul Heyman girl being Becky Lynch, I'm all for this. I hope they go that route. We'll see.
Would be something. Although, you probably didn't see this, but I saw some adorable videos today of Becky Lynch with her daughter at the press conference, and my God, talk about adorable.
Yeah, that was cute.
My goodness, that girl looks just like her father.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, she looks just like him. But then we'll get to it now. It's the main event. John Cena, now the 17-time greatest last world real champion, he says from his own mouth, has defeated Cody Rhodes. And it lasted 21 minutes and 40 seconds. What do you want to say about it?
I mean, it's the outcome that I felt like they probably should have went with. I'll just start there. I feel like they got to the right finish, but did it completely wrong. It was the only match that I actually was upset with by both nights. Like I was just kind of like, and maybe not as so much about the people that were there, but who wasn't there. Like how you have The Rock be the guy that starts all of this and, is like the puppeteer behind all of it. And he can't find 12 hours out of his day to fly to Vegas and, hang out with the boys and then do a 5-minute spot. Like, come on. There had to be a tie-in with The Rock. Like, for there to be no Rock there makes this match pointless to me. Like, they wasted an opportunity to stick a rapper in there that, is apparently very popular, but he doesn't tie the storyline together like The Rock would. And not to mention the guy is, the same size I was in 8th grade. It doesn't look intimidating to have him come out there and try to foil Cody Rhodes.
It makes no fucking sense. Like, when the music starts playing, I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? And then here comes Travis Scott. And then he walks to the ring slower than the fucking Undertaker. By the time he got to WrestleMania, John Cena had retired. It was fucking WrestleMania 45.
Yeah, all of that was just done so poorly. Like, I think the entire match was awful. I was upset with the entire match. Like, Cena clearly calling spots in the middle of the match. Yeah. I mean, you got to call him out on it because it was bad. Like, that was just awful. I mean, on WrestleMania.
In fairness, though, if you go back and watch most of John Cena's career, you can see him calling spots.
But
you're right.
I could see
clear as day. Yeah, clear as day. You could see him.
You could hear him too with 63,000 people. You could still hear him calling the spots. It was just bad. So I mean, I'm curious to see where it goes from here. I want to see The Rock get tied into this. Hopefully they figure this out because it's a shit show right now. I'm glad Cena won. I'm glad to see that they're moving on with Orton. That's going to be very interesting. And I'm curious to see where they go with all of this, but man, did they really drop the ball on this one for me. And it seems like a lot of people feel the same way.
I think for me, this is like the one thing that I took away from it. I didn't mind the slow pace of the match. And like the way Cena was working, because the gimmick for him right now is that he's not trying to do anything flashy for the fans. So why would he do big flashy moves? Why wouldn't he just do, the stuff that's going to work for him, like axe handles off the top rope, or even the subtle thing of him coming down to the ring with nothing but just a black John Cena, that's all it said. if you hadn't had Travis Scott come out there and walk to the ring at a fucking slow pace, fuck that. Even if Travis Scott runs to the ring faster than the fucking Flash, it still makes no fucking sense. Why is Travis Scott here? Why the fuck do I care what a mumble rapper has to fucking do? I know I'm 40 and he's not my demographic, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't that mad about it until we're talking about it right now. It's fucking stupid. They should have never had The Rock involved in it at all. I mean, Cena could have turned heel on his own and did the whole "the fans have been shitty to me for 20 years" thing, and they didn't need The Rock. So that's why you made it even fucking stupider. Fuck Travis Scott.
Yeah, and The Rock too, for that matter. Right now, both of them.
Yeah, fuck you too, Rock. We said it. I said it.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I'm coming out positive on this because not this match, but WrestleMania itself was a great time.
Yeah.
2 good nights of matches, a lot of good storytelling in and out of the ring. But they dropped the ball in this last match, and I just want to move forward looking positive to see where they go with it.
But yeah, no, I liked, I know you didn't, but Cena basically just came out there and was telling everybody, you know, like, you have the nerve to, he basically called them out for the Cody thing because they were booing Cody on Friday night. He said, you people have the nerve to boo Cody Rhodes on Friday night and then you cheer his name tonight. That's how fickle you people are. And he's right. Us wrestling fans are pretty fucking fickle. But the great thing was Randy Orton coming out there and RKOing him at the end because I didn't see that coming. And like you said, it's only fitting that Randy Orton and John Cena face off one more time. And I wouldn't be mad if Orton beats him and takes the belt off of him. I think that would be very fitting.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
I think that would be. And you could also say, you know, Orton is avenging his friend Cody because, you know, him and Cody are really close. So that comes into play too. Do you think Cody is going to be gone for a little while now? You think we don't see him for a few months?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, yeah, probably, because if they're already spinning it off to having Orton feud with them that quickly and Cody's not getting like a send away, I feel like he's going to be gone for a little bit, maybe at least a month or so.
Maybe it's like a thing where, like, you know, it's like a what's the word I'm looking? His psyche has been crushed or something, so he's got to go away to regain his psyche or whatever. And Cody's been going hard, you know, as the champion for a full calendar year, so he deserves a little bit of a break and a little bit of time off anyway. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Cena and Orton going forward. And yeah, again, it was a good WrestleMania. I wouldn't say it was a great WrestleMania.
It was a fun show for me. I liked it. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. There we go. That's it. That's all. We've talked about everything we talk about from the show of WrestleMania 41. And now it's time to do the plugs. And Glenn usually does plugs, but he's not here. So I'm going to try to do his plugs for him. Make sure that you check out our friends, Rob and Danny, over at the Unbooking the Territory podcast, where they do the first and last of wrestling. They also do a show reliving the life and times of one Tank Abbott. And Unbooking the Tankatory, they also do Unstacking the Dadatory, the road to Big Daddy versus Giant Haystacks, with the most viewed wrestling match in history of over 18 million viewers. And, of course, the Doctor Who podcast with Danny and Cy, which you can hear right now this week. Yours truly, me, Brent Piles, is on the show this week. You check out our SJP World Media. I covered my first ever episode of Doctor Who, where it had something to do with Robin Hood, so figure out how the fuck that all ties together if you want to listen to that. And, of course, check out our buddies, DDT Wrestling with DC and Doc. I think I got them all. Thank you. Mayor, what do you want to plug?
I think you killed it. So, as usual, I got to plug my good buddy, Mr. Thomas Bryce, the man with the plan, with the chops in the land. He can be found at Thomas Bryce 2017 or Thomas Bryce 2020 and at his website, sportswireradio.org. And if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you.
Sportswire?
Sportswire.
That's one radio. What's one word, though?
Sportswire Radio.
There we go. That's 2 words, I think.
There we go. So that's it. Didn't really think that one through.
Well, whatever works. And make sure you give us a subscribe on YouTube if you don't already. That's the thing to do so you know what's going on with this show. That's it. That's all. I have nothing else to say. I've got nothing else to plug. And it's your turn to do it this time, buddy. So why don't you tell the people goodbye?
All right. Goodbye.